so bear with me. I'm gonna walk away from this noise in a second. This is Diana Park in Morgan Hill, and this is part 3 of my series. In the first 2 parts, I made it very obvious why everyone, especially females, should obey God through me. I made it particularly obvious and straightforward. I talked about Proverbs 4 and Proverbs 5. And in both these parts, I've connected wisdom and the traits and the characteristics of the wise person to the wise, righteous action that should be done here. Okay, so in Proverbs 9, it's titled Invitations of Wisdom and Folly. In this chapter, we're going to go over what it means to walk in the way of insight and how folly is compared to an unruly woman who is simple. And Bible Gateway in the notes has told us in Proverbs 1, the notes for Proverbs 1, that simple denotes someone who is morally deficient, without moral direction, etc., right? That's what it means to be simple and to be a fool. Okay, so she is without moral direction and knows nothing. Right? She's unwise. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's wandering aimlessly. She doesn't give enough thought to her steps on her path. Okay. Wisdom has built her house. She has set it up on 7 pillars. Remember, there's 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, 7 seals, 7 angels, 7 churches in Revelation. Okay, 7 pillars, right? Principles. What comes to mind, and I'm not a Muslim, but is the pillars of Islam, right? They're principles. She's built her house on 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city, "Let all who are simple come to my house." To those who have no sense, she says, "Come eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the ways of insight." So she says, stop being morally deficient and without moral direction and walk in the way of insight. Now we'll see later on in this chapter that folly, the unruly woman, also calls out to those without moral direction. So it's either obey God through me, the top martial artist ever, he who has demonstrated the most insight, because I've been saying things like what I'm saying in this video for a long time. We have videos on YouTube going back to 2009, thousands and thousands of videos. And I made my martial art challenge legal and peaceful, mind you, in 2000, one in 2012 and one in 2013. Okay, and the whole time I'm talking about the characteristics and the traits and the principles of God. So you can see that martial art repetition with my strikes, and you can see what I'm upset about. And you can see that it's clear that I'm insisting on what is right and just, while everyone else is just conforming and they're controlled opposition and they're wittingly and otherwise cheating me out of my right to lead. And certainly there's a level of consciousness that they're aware that they should not be leading, they should not be in charge. And lots of them are in groups that try to reinforce the social orders that are illegitimate, okay? They're social engineering, they're social developing, city planning, urban development. They're in social clubs, they're in political groups. They're in social, political, and economic movements, corporations, law enforcement, law and order, military, obeying the orders of the state and the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution, even if it's bogus and it gets rid of your right to have an abortion, what have you. These are illegitimate groups that think that you should reproduce wickedness rather than cut it off by any means necessary, because after my flesh dies, there'll be no way to be moral. There will be no true insight, and none of the true martial art principles will be there. People won't truly have heart. They won't truly have focus, because there'll be no way for them to cultivate these things. They won't be just. They won't be fair. They won't be righteous. They won't be on the right path. They won't be wise, because there'll be no point in living. The end of the Bible will have come and gone, and because of the masses of the churches propagating despicable falsehood, they'll not have understood the obvious lessons of Revelation, when the connections are there all throughout the Bible. You can connect Revelations to Isaiah. Okay, you can connect it to Psalms and Micah and Hosea and Amos. And certainly the churches have large groups of people that make it a walk in the park to connect these things. So why don't they tell the truth about what the Bible is saying? Because they worship the devil, and they eat the fruit and the bread of injustice and wickedness, and they drink the wine of chaos and unfairness, etc. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insult. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Later on in Proverbs, or somewhere else in Proverbs, it actually says that you should rebuke them. So this is part of it's a context dilemma, where if you read this out of context, you'll be confused. Remember Christ and John the Baptist, they're rebuking mockers. A mocker is somebody who mocks at doing the right thing instead of doing it. Like King Herod, he's a mock king, right? He wasn't a real king because he didn't establish his throne in righteousness and justice. So his rituals are mock rituals. They're not valid and sincere and genuine rituals. Okay. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. If people feared the Lord, would they cheat me out of my right to lead? No. So if that's the beginning, is to fear the Lord enough not to cheat, to keep the commandments, thou shalt not steal. Do not cheat one another. Do not lie. It's lying by your actions to go to church instead of obeying God through me. It's lying by your actions to take on a different culture instead of obeying God through me. So if people actually were wise, you would know because they were obeying God through me. That's why the Bible says narrow is the way that leads to life, and broad is the way that leads to the gate that leads to the destruction. Okay, so obviously you know there's not many people that are making it. Okay. And what are they missing? They're missing Proverbs 16:10 and 12, which says a divine verdict is on the lips of the king, and the king has established his throne in justice and righteousness, not by popular vote, not by mere human rules, customs, and traditions, but by God selecting him as he selected God in the right way before it was too late. Another martial art principle is timing. When timing and wisdom are combined, it is clear cut that the end is here and that I'm the top martial artist ever possible. All right. Therefore, nobody, because I'm the king, can say my verdict is not divine, because I'm the actual valid king who's established himself in righteousness and justice. Also, because I'm the top martial artist ever possible, because tech breeding, controlling breeding and ill-gotten gains and cheating, etc., makes so no one will be a valid martial artist ever again, and I've surpassed all the martial artists who are alive right now and the ones before me. So I'm the top martial artist ever possible, the root and offspring of David, David facing Goliath, which means that no matter how you slice it, my verdict is the most important. What I say is more important than what anybody and everyone else put together says. And that's clear-cut logic. That's sound logic. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life in the spiritual realm. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. So why is she unruly? Because she doesn't obey the state? No. Because she doesn't obey the churches? No. Because she doesn't obey an order of righteousness and justice. So she's out of the divine order, the order of justice, the order of righteousness, the order of universal pinpointed moral precision. Precision and decision are connected. These words and ideas and principles are connected. She's unruly because she practices the principles of cheating the righteous out of their right to lead. 14. She sits at the door of her house on a seat at the highest point in the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their ways. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, stolen water is sweet. Food eaten in secret is delicious. So they think they can hide from the eyes of God. And she's saying that after, the spirit of folly, the unruly woman, Babylon, what have you, all the wicked there ever were, are, and ever will be, they're saying that why not keep going? Because they're arguing that it's worthwhile to keep going and make the best of it and so on and so forth. But that's stolen life, because there's no point of life. And God made the world so that people would do the right thing, not just make the best of doing the wrong thing. That's not what you're supposed to do. But little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. After the top martial artist ever comes and goes, They're deep in the realm of the dead. After Christ died on the cross, you had one last kind of chance, a period of chance for 2,000 years, and now I'm here. Thank you.